South China Morning Post, 17th of August 2022, reasons why India should not restrict inexpensive Chinese phones. China has been dumping phones in India as part of an all-out campaign to undermine the Indian subcontinent's industrial capacity. India must impose a tax to force a decrease in Chinese content starting in the first year, either 33% tax or 33% indigenization. Second year indigenization, 66% tax or 66% indigenization, 100% tax or 100% indigenization in the third year. It is no secret that Chinese phones are popular in India and have long outsold domestic versions. The second quarter of this year saw a third of India's sales volume come from smartphones priced under 12,000 rupees, $150, with up to 80% of those shipments coming from Chinese businesses, according to tech industry tracker Counterpoint. According to the report, Chinese company Xiaomi continued to dominate the Indian smartphone market for the quarter. At the same time, the Chinese company Realme produced 3 of the top 5 phone models. The Indian market is crucial to China, particularly since their debilitating lockdowns and zero-COVID policies have a negative economic effect. The Indian government is reportedly preparing to exclude Chinese phone producers from the Indian entry-level market to safeguard the indigenous sector. This action might have significant ramifications for Chinese businesses, many of which have previously come under investigation due to widespread money laundering and customs duty evasion. Chinese trade is not fair, but it has become known for protectionism. Prime Minister Narendra Modi began his career as a champion of free and fair trade. In contrast, China has adopted the slogan Self-Reliant India and encouraged Indians to support the economy by purchasing locally produced goods. His trade strategy has come under fire for opposing India's 1990s free trade policies. The whole globe is now friend-shoring up manufacturing against an aggressive China. During that time, the nation eliminated import licensing, slashed customs fees, and eliminated the bureaucracy that made doing business in India a nightmare. For the first time, the Indian economy was greatly opened up to foreign investment, commerce, and commodities. Indian customers were given greater convenience and choice as more private companies joined the telecom, aviation, and other industries. Millions of people are credited with escaping poverty due to these economic changes, which have had significant consequences. It was as if India had suddenly become a place of opportunity. However, many fear that India is currently going backwards because of increased protectionism and governmental meddling. The Indian government's public policy think tank, Niti Aayog, Deputy Chairman and economist Arvind Panagarya remarked in March of last year that India has started to reverse the policy of economic liberalization in recent years. He was reported by the Economic Times as suggesting that India should not support business with crutches of protection. Undoubtedly, both China and India would stand to lose a great deal. After China, India has the second largest smartphone market in the world. Low-income individuals in India are likely to be most negatively impacted by a protectionist move, depriving them of the variety and quality now offered in the mobile market's sub-$150 category. Over the last several years, there has been a significant increase in smartphone usage, particularly in rural areas. One recent study found that the penetration rate for rural India almost quadrupled from 36.5% to 67.6% between 2018 and 2021. Indian smartphones have started to compete. Despite this, the International Data Corporation reports that the first half of 2022 saw a year-over-year reduction in Indian smartphone shipments. Despite maintaining its market-leading position, Xiaomi, one of China's largest mobile makers, had a 28% decline in second quarter sales to India. In 2011, Xiaomi unveiled its first phone. It has risen to the top spot in the Chinese market by 2014. It makes use of Chinese product dumping techniques. In India, its supremacy might be more quickly and effortlessly established with the help of a unique partnership with Indian e-commerce giant Flipkart. It entered the Indian market in 2014. According to Flipkart, it got 100,000 registrations in only a few days, and within 30 minutes of the introduction, all of the phones were gone. In contrast, the advent of Chinese companies has impacted Indian rivals like Micromax, Lava, Carbon, and Intex, and Indian phones priced under $150 have not truly attracted the public's attention. Indian phones have received some harsh criticism. They lack appropriate gaming displays, heat up too fast, have subpar cameras, and are not competitive. The market share of Indian brands fell from 68% in 2015 to only 1% in 2021, while Chinthe company's market share increased from 32% to 98% over the same period. Another aspect of the problem is whether a phone can legitimately be named Indian if every one of its parts is manufactured in China. Some Indians intended to boycott Chinese phones as border conflicts between China and India dominated the news in 2020. However, they needed to be informed that practically all of the parts for Indian mobile phones are now purchased from China and that India is mostly where the phones are built. This dependence on Chinese components is often seen as a barrier in Indian manufacturing. There is potential for protectionist measures that are just for both the buyer and the seller once the globe stops being smaller and allows for less international travel, trade, and business. It's time to lessen our susceptibility to unfair trade practices by China.